Why have you gone away? Where is the laughter you used to bring me? Why can't I hear music play? My world is changing, I'm rearranging. Does that mean Christmas changes too? Where are you, Christmas? Do you remember the one you used to know? I'm not the same one. See what the time's done. Is that why you have let me go? Christmas is here everywhere. Oh, Christmas is here if you can. Oh, if there is love in your heart and your mind, you will feel like Christmas all the time. Oh, I feel you, Christmas. I know I found you. You never fade away. The joy of Christmas stays here inside us. Fills each and every heart with love. Where are you, Christmas? Fill your heart with love.
So yeah, Natalie was in a coma and with a traumatic brain injury, which they actually didn't know. They didn't think she was going to survive. We didn't find her till 22 hours later. And they'd already had her organs donated out. And that's the medical, personnel. Without getting into explaining all that medically, I want to ask Natalie first, how are you after seeing that video? Like, again, I know you've seen it, but how do you feel?
It's surreal. That was me. It's weird. It's cool. It's strange to see the pictures because that was me, and even though that was me, the coolest thing is this is me now, and this is God's work. This is what God has done with me and through me.
It's a beautiful, miraculous Christmas story. That's what it is. And You should have perished on that Christmas night, but here you are. It's so beautiful.
It is.
When you were in that coma, I would be there every day, and I couldn't get, it was hard to peel me away from the hospital bed. And with the help and support of my family, I was able to stay there at the hospital. I've told you all this. But I couldn't keep my eyes off of you. And she had not only had a coma, she had lots of, she had lots of other injuries. One of them being her face was shattered. She has 6 plates in her face. And she didn't even have a single open wound in her face. It was all from blunt trauma. And they had the plastic surgeon about 3 or 4 days into it. I can't remember exactly. They, had to go in there. And so she has 6 plates and screws in her face, which you would never know. And that one picture of her, the beautiful model portrait, that's what they had pinned up the plastic surgeon so that he knew how to reconstruct her.
Wow.
All around her eyes. It's really a miracle they didn't lose your sight. And with the trauma that was done around her face, and she, as you can see, she had other broken bones too. But
How was it for you?
for me. Well, let me see here. Let me look at my notes. No. Well, I got to tell you that, honey, God's love got me through. It's like the rubber meets the road. I was a Christian for 40 years at this time, and you're a Christian that long, and His love has to see you through, and His love is seeing you through too. So,
Recovery.
talking to your mic, yeah,
Through my recovery.
yeah, through your
His-
recovery, yeah,
His love, yeah.
yeah.
And that's the only way I think I have been able. That's the only way I think I am doing so well, is because of His love. His love He has showered me with love, with help, with guidance, and it's all because of Him. And I couldn't be anywhere without Him.
It was really, kind of amazing. You think of a coma as one day you just wake up, and some comas are like this, but with a traumatic brain injury, it's a slow process to wake up from a coma. And, one day she's cracking an eye open, the next, and slowly flinching. And so we were doing all we could. My daughter Jessica's here, and she was doing vigil with me next to the bed. And, they just don't wake up. And it's a slow process. And then you had to relearn everything over again. I mean, she had to learn how to eat, drink, self-care. I mean, talk. She couldn't remember things. And that's part of, the only thing I want to say that's kind of like along the lines of medical is when there's a traumatic brain injury, what that means is it's a wound to the head that is could be an open or closed, head wound resulting from an external force. So if it's not brain cancer or Alzheimer's, or if you were born with something from birth, it is something that happens to your head. And one or more of these areas get affected, and that is your cognition, your language, your memory, your attention, reasoning, abstract thinking, judgment, problem solving, sensory, perceptual, motor abilities, psychosocial behavior, physical functions, information processing, and speech. And I have to tell you, Natalie, you have done amazing with all of those areas.
Thank you. There are a few areas that need a little bit more work, but
Well, don't we all? I'm sorry, but don't we all have work? Yeah.
but the thing is I am somebody who doesn't back down and give up. I fight.
Okay.
I fight.
Yes, you're a fighter. Yes.
I am a fighter.
Yes, you are.
And I'm gonna fight. My goal is to fight and succeed and be the most amazing woman of God. And that is the process I am living and on. And it's hard. There's nothing easy. You know, I'm having to relearn how to be a mother to my daughters, and that's hard. And that makes me sad. My girls mean everything to me. And I just want to be the best, most amazing mom to my daughters. You know, and I'm going through that process, and I know that they're proud of me, and so I just can't get through my days without Jesus and without my girls. That's my life right now.
You say that, you've told me this several times, that not only was it the worst day of your life, but it was the best day of your life.
Totally, because I am so glad that I almost died. I'm so glad that my face has plates, that I shattered my face, because Jesus is and has restored me and restored my beauty and restored my heart. And that is the most beautiful thing. I'm trying to, through everything that I've learned through the love of God, I'm trying to help others, to see the beauty of God and see how big and powerful and He is, and how He can do anything. Just trust Him, love Him, believe in Him.
Yes.
Look to Him.
Yes. Well, honestly, you inspire me all the time, Natalie. You're an inspiration to me. We sit like this and talk quite often, and she inevitably inspires me in some level. And I just love you so much. And I love my family. I have some of my family here. He's with I want to say this one thing. He's been with you every single moment. I mean, when she was alone in that car, it was like 20 minutes she was in the car. It was a single car accident. It was 20 minutes before 911 was even called. And we know that based on just a couple of factual things, but he was with you in that car. And he was with you, all alone. I felt she was a Jane Doe at the hospital, and he was with you every moment, and he was with me every moment. He's with your children every moment. His love never leaves us.
He hasn't left us.
He hasn't left us.
And He won't.
He won't leave us, no.
And the best thing is I have the most amazing mother, obviously, but her mom was dying when I was in the hospital or I was in the hospital, and so my mom it was so hard for my mom to break away and be with her mom, to be with me and support me and help me. And so when she had to be away from me, I'm not kidding you, my sister Jessica, who was amazing too, who really helped me so much, my sister Jessica, and I'm sure a few others, I can't think of the names. Ashley, of course, my other sister, who's not here. I'm so sad. But I've had
Kathy.
But I've had so much support through family when my mom couldn't be there for me, because I had everybody else.
Well, that's what family